Hello VC. Let's see. It was a great day today. Lots of breakthroughs at the pressing plant I work at the vinyl pressing plant, and some records came in. Well, not such a big surprise since I ordered them, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to celebrate renewal of the American imperialism. Let's listen to Vatican Shadow for a little while. Hello Barb, hello George. Vatican Shadow is the project of Dominic Ferno, who runs Hospital Recordings. He's mostly known for his Purient alias, which is noise music, like harsh noise. It's pretty good for what it is. Not my favorite, but yeah. He has this other project called Rainforest Spiritual Enslavement. That one is really good, especially the stuff from 4 or 5 years ago. The name says it all. Then he has this project, Vatican Shadow, which started out more techno, and there was always this Middle East underlying aesthetic that never really convinced me. Like, people were telling me that, yeah, this is like kind of the new Muslim girls, and I was, nah, it's not. But I was keeping listening to them, to these releases, as I'm really interested in this aesthetic. Also the aesthetic of the project, the visual aesthetic. But yeah, there was nothing that really passed the smell test until this one. This is an EP, it's like half an hour, that came out last year as a cassette, like in 2019, and this was released on vinyl last year, and it's 3 tracks, quite long, and this one is probably my favorite. It's kind of like a ritual industrial, but this underlying drone, very dramatic, very menacing, but not in an obvious way. The track is called Loyal to the Deceased. Nope, it's not actually. It's called Opium Crop Airstrikes. What a wonderful and powerful cover. So it just grows very slowly with more noise, more hissing percussions. There's lots of, the production on this is obviously, there's lots of tape hiss in the production. He probably did it in a very minimal setup, either drum machines or samples, and then went through different premixes using analog tape, because you can hear some slight distortion which is caused by the tape, and which is very appealing to my ears. You might argue that not much is happening in this. That is kind of the point. This is trance-inducing music, even if it's kind of evil sounding, but not in a adolescent way, not in a very in-your-face way. which is quite what I enjoy about it, as it really is in tune with the project, with the, I wouldn't say the philosophical project behind it, but I mean, then it's called Vatican Shadow. That is a strong name for a project. When you think about it, how the old world that everyone tells you is the world of the past is still ruling in the shadow, whether you want it or not. Yeah, I really like this. So one of the most surprising albums of last year for me, in the sense that I know this artist and I didn't expect anything great of her. Obviously not because it's a her, but because the music I heard from her before wasn't that interesting. It was good dance music, but this is Upsammy, with also great cover art. On the Deck Mental label from Holland. So much syncopation. Bass drum, the melody, and the perks. This is really cool. This is a double LP, and from what I heard in the sound clips, this is the first time I listened to the vinyl, but from what I heard, there's quite a few tracks that are worth getting this record. Her second album. She's a young producer. She's done a few EPs. The first album was only digital, and this is the first vinyl LP she has. And I definitely will be on the look for more of her stuff, because she seems to be on the curve. Like, she was doing like house techno, and you can still hear this in the. This is like post-club music. This is an ascending curve she's in. I'm really interested to see where she's getting. So sparse and yet so inspiring, so rich in tones. The groove is insane. Does the album have a name? No, there's no name. Oh, Zoo. It's called Zoo. Not the greatest name, but kind of goes well with the cover. And we're listening to a track called Subsoil, if I remember correctly. wrong track. This is nice. Okay, this is something quite special. The band is called Ingleton Falls. The record called Champagne in Mozambique.
Quite high, high, high,
This was released as a cassette in 1991, 100 copies. And it's dub, obviously, kind of on the post-industrial side of things.
I felt quite high,
So it was reissued in 2017 on the Isle of Jura. The track is called High.
I felt quite high,
And it's just very nice. This is obviously way less subtle than the track we listened to before. The rhythm is dub. It's everything is played straight in a way, but also very narcotic. I might be wrong, but I think I remember a connection between this and a British band called O Yuki Conjugate, which is kind of on the world music side of industrial music mostly in the 80s and a little bit in the 90s. They're enjoying a renaissance of late, so that might be why this has been reissued, if I'm not totally off. It's just a vague memory. By the way, even if I'm wrong, O Yuki Conjugate is interesting to investigate.
I felt quite high.
Alright, now something quite different. Even if most of this is electronic music related, obviously. This is a guy from Glasgow, I believe, called Marco Bernardi. His name might make you believe he's Italian, but no, he is pure British. This is what came with the record. The record is just a disco bag. Pretty high quality, but still a disco bag. Marco Bernardi, I used to follow almost all his releases through the 2000s and 2010s, up until I felt it became repetitive. And I stopped buying his new stuff. And I think he stopped releasing new stuff. He probably realized also that it wasn't getting exciting anymore. And this is the last record he released that I thought like, maybe. And I didn't get it. And while I was buying these records on this shop, this one was in the sale category, like for dirt cheap. And I found myself quite enjoying this track. So Marco Bernardi's thing is he does live improv with drum machines and synthesizers, and he's obviously indebted to Chicago house, to early Chicago house, like the 808 drum machine from Roland. And you can hear flanger effects on the drums there, so there's quite also psychedelic feel to the drums. And all the keys, they're in syncopation. That's what it's all about with good house music. Music that talks to the body before the mind. And for that you need syncopation. So that your body can bound on different energies, on different like stuff that stick out from the track. This is not the most spectacular track, obviously, but this is good production. Like, there's lots of like this production needs to sound dirty. Chicago house, if it's too clean, there's something off. And these machines that are the true machines of house music, there's a few synthesizers, a few drum machines, a few bass synthesizers. They were not like the greatest synthesis. They often had only like one oscillator, the synthesizers like. And you need a level of distortion. When I say distortion, I don't say that mean something that gets in the red. Just slight distortions to make the whole sound a little more murky, so that there's nothing that sticks too much out precisely for the mind, that like the mind would catch before the body. When it's that muddy, it's I hope you understand. I hope you already know. All right. So lastly, something quite special for me. This track was a dear friend of mine. We had like plans to reissue this ourselves. This is a track that only came out as a CD single, like one track, in 2003. The CD was self-distributed by the artist at gigs, at one gig especially. The band is Seafield, one of my favorite bands ever, and Seafield in '84 did 2 remixes for Ottaker for this EP. It's a triple 10-inch box set. This was probably the first music that really got my attention so much that, like, okay, I'm not into electronic music, but I guess I am. And there was like Beaumont Tenant remixes on this that were amazing for the time. And this was released on Warp. This was the first time Otaker were remixed by someone else, and also the last one, apart from one very specific anniversary occasion for the 20-year anniversary of Warp Records. So after that, they were never remixed by other bands. But I guess they were at the beginning of their career also. Everything was more personal and friendly. So they did a remix for Seafield as well. That went unreleased because this is obviously from a little later than that, but not that much. Because this is a remix of the track Spangle, which is my favorite Seafield track from oh yeah, the EP somewhere else. Yeah, well, I have one here without the cover, but I have several copies of this. This is one of my favorite records. And so Otaker did this remix that went unreleased until Mark Clifford, the guy from Seafield, was invited by Otaker to play at the Old Tumors party in 2003. Is it here? There it is. This is a compilation that it was a double CD, so that with more tracks. But the Ultimers Party is a festival that was held in Britain for a few years, where one band was curating the whole thing. In this festival, you had Public Enemy, The Fall, Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, Zoviet France, Aphex Twin, Bernard Parmigiani, Musique Concrète. It was just insane. The best lineup ever for me, and objectively the best one ever in so many ways. Oh, Cool Keith was playing. That was just insane. And so Mark Clifford, he was playing a guitar set there, and he was just walking around, and to whomever wanted, he was selling the CD single of this. And this is such a beautiful track, and I've been daring for the possibility to get this on vinyl for years, to the point that I find myself in the position that maybe I should do it. Maybe I should contact these people. I have the contacts of some of them. I'm not friends with them, but I'm not that far away from them. And I was talking with one of my friends who released records on the same label on Warp. And we were thinking maybe we could do it. And he was telling me, nah, it's gonna be too difficult. They're gonna be assholes about it. And it's never gonna happen. And that conversation we had like in early December. Zeitgeist, a double LP compilation, Id Memo, A Future of Nostalgia, curated by Vladimir Ivkovic and Ivan Smag, a French DJ, with rare, unreleased, forgotten, unreleased on vinyl tracks from the golden age of IDM, electronica, the British 90s electronic music. There's even like a remix by Polygon Window, which is Aphex Twin, that was only released on the Japanese CDs here. There's really good stuff, but just for this track alone, the drums slowly coming in, very sparse. So there's 2 volumes of that, and well, damn them, but thank them. Saved me the hassle, the work. I'm not even sure I would have managed to do that, to achieve that, but who knows. But at least they did it. These are proper Otaker vintage mid-90s drums. Just like balls, kind of like wood block, but also kind of like bouncing like balls, bouncing wood blocks. So I guess this has also an element of dub. Yeah. Either it's obvious to you or it's not, and if it's not, I could explain it, but in another video where we'll talk specifically about seafield. Seafield were, just to remind everyone who's not aware, they were this like shoegaze band. Their first EP was kind of what My Bloody Valentine would have done if they had done a follow-up to Loveless, in my opinion. Loveless was the ultimate shoegaze album with these wall of sound, wall of noise guitars that were contrasted by an ethereal quality of the singing. Seafield took it even further with in like the vocals, you can't even understand what she's singing about, Sarah Peacock. And the guitars, they are so treated and looped that it becomes something repetitive and also a little bit stubborn, with the bass or bass drum often being the only anchor element of the music, which is dub. And I was listening to Seafield, loving them when I didn't like electronic music, didn't like dub reggae. And then one day I realized, dude, you're totally full of shit. That's exactly this band that you say is one of your favorite ones is absolutely electronic and absolutely dub. So, and that opened a door that Otaker also did. Well, and so this is Otaker remixing Seafield. This is like the best of both worlds to me. Yeah, Otaker is also will be the subject of a video, or maybe 2 or 3 or 4, as there's very few bands that have had a greater impact on my musical path, my music making even, and life. I guess you were blessed to be into these bands in the early 90s when guitar music started to show its limits in a way. Let's be don't cry wolf, please. But yeah, lots of people who would have made guitar music in the 90s turned to electronic music because it was more exciting. Because suddenly the potential was limitless. It's more complicated than that, but there's also a sociological aspect to it, especially in the UK. But to be into that music when it was really blooming and popular, when it was not about being a star, a DJ or whatever, that was really formative, educational. And to go back to guitar music after having made that journey is also very interesting. It's never never a matter of abandoning one shore forever. This is probably one of the few bands I've been listening since I was a teen that I still enjoy as much now as I did back then. And this remix is kind of the glue between so many different influences. So this being released on vinyl is a big deal. A really big deal. I hope you enjoyed that, and that this finds you in good health, and there will probably be more very soon. Have a good night, VC.